the first phase is always inspiration. And so maybe you're someone who like gets a download and is like, oh my God, what a cool idea. And you're just like super, super inspired about it. Maybe you see something and you're more reactive. Like you see something and you respond to it and it becomes this idea. The first phase of entrepreneurship and like the entrepreneurial growth cycle is inspiration, because that's when we start to get like this urge for change, this urge to like create something new. The problem is that a lot of things get stuck in this infinite idea spiral. And so we've got tabs open, we've got things in our notes app, maybe there's a Notion board with a billion different ideas, but a lot of those ideas never see the light of day unless you move on to stage 2, which is ideation. So I call this the almost there ache. You're like, oh, you've been inspired. I'm like, you know what? This idea is keeping me up at night. I have to lock in and focus on this because like it's nagging at me. I'm starting to see other like signs of it out in the world, and other people are doing something similar, and I have to do it. Like I know this is something that I'm meant to be doing. And so then you go into the ideation phase where you start to flesh it out a little bit more. You're like, okay, so I was really inspired, but now let's figure out like how could it be real? How could it be viable? And you start to hyperfixate on those things. Maybe you even go and like get the Instagram handle or get the website or like buy the domain hosting, maybe go and start to trademark your shit, whatever. But you're starting to get real serious about this. Maybe you even had a couple of hyperfixation nights about it. But even in the ideation phase, that's where you might still be getting to like the 80%. Like you've done all that, right? You've gotten all the things, all your ducks in a row, and then poof. And then you back off, and then you fall off, and then it's like really hard to get back on that. So you might even start to repeat the the inspiration and the ideation cycles where you're going through almost getting it over the finish line, and then you just kind of ghost your platform. Third step, if you manage to go from inspiration to ideation, you flesh out this idea, and then you're like, you know what, fuck this. I call this the fuck around and find out frontier. This is when you're ready to go and try some shit. And you get here and you start to implement and you make some stories and maybe you even get some clients and you try things out. But here, this is like the slippery slope, because sometimes when you get to the implementation phase, that fucking fuck around and find out frontier, you might get something over the finish line, but what a lot of people struggle with in this third phase is actually keeping that momentum going. So yes, maybe I implement this one thing, maybe I make the one post, maybe I get the one client, but you get caught up in maybe some of the doubt or the overwhelm of actually having this real, that you don't do those next steps to keep it going. So a lot of people, when they're in implementation, they've done some, they've maybe had like a modicum of success, but there's none of the follow through. So the follow through, the consistency, what you know as a successful business owner is what makes a successful business is the consistency and follow through over time. And as multi-passionate people, maybe as ADHD folks, it can feel really easy to be derailed by this. So in the implementation phase, this is why I literally built something called the Level Up Lab. All we do in this is implement. We have accountability. We're building all of that in. It's body doubling. It's nervous system regulation. We're building strategies that are specifically for ADHD folks to follow through and stay in momentum. Anyway, we can talk about that later. But in the implementation phase, you've gotten a taste of it. But there's just enough friction still to keep you out of the real flow that's going to move you to stage 4, which is transformation, the cash flow overflow era. Overflow of whatever you want to be overflowing. And usually for my clients, since it's all business people, entrepreneurs, we're seeing some cash flow here. Once you get to the 4th stage of transformation, that's when you've kind of locked in everything. You've had this idea, you've been inspired, you turned it into a real thing, you've fleshed it out, you've started to implement it, you've implemented over time, and now at this point, you've had multiple variations of this same idea, and you've started to rework it and get better and better. You've worked through some shitty first drafts, you've gotten even to like your second rounds, your betas, and now it's a final thing, and this is where you've really found your flow. Something that I always remind my clients is that when you're going through these phases, all of it is an experience. All of it is meant to be a first draft. All of this is just data that we get to refine on. So even with Level Up Lab, the reason I'm calling it a lab is because all of this is an experiment. I never say that I'm going to come into your business and tell you the foolproof strategy and the 1, 2, 10 steps that are going to change your fucking life. But what I am going to do is start from the very beginning with you to figure out what that steps or what that system is, what those steps are for you. It's not going to be the same for everyone. So as you move from inspiration to ideation, there's going to be a different system in place to keep you rolling. Same as when you go from ideation to implementation. The way that we start to implement in your business for you and create the strategy that's going to be sustainable is going to be super different from other people. We will have some core things, but I always, always, always want you to be able to customize what we're doing to work for you. And finally, again, when we're moving from that implementation phase, we're fucking around, we're finding out, we're getting good results, and we're in transformation, that's when you really start to feel it can feel like a big exhale. You start to feel safe. You start to feel excited. You start to see the potential and then get paid for your potential too, instead of just having you like, oh, I could do these things, and now you have. When you move through these 4 stages, my favorite thing that happens is you start to build confidence again, because maybe you had a cycle before of getting stuck in any of those 3 earlier cycles, the implementation or the inspiration, the ideation, and the implementation. Any of those 3 I's, that's where people can get really stuck and end up in this cycle of doing them over and over again. And when you come out of that, you start to build the confidence that you'll do what you say you will. You'll have integrity with yourself. You'll build confidence that you can do the hard things, that you can make it through a scary first draft, that it really is progress over perfection. My favorite thing is helping neurodivergent people, neurosparkly, multi-passionate folks realize that there is no one particular way. The main thing is that we figure out what's going to work for you, that's going to be sustainable, that's going to be exciting, that's going to get you the results that you want to feel peaceful and powerful and profitable, to feel lazy, luxurious, and lucrative. But it always comes back to these 3 stages. What does it look like to move from inspiration, get your idea into the real world, go through ideation, get it to something that you can act on and that you continue to act on in the implementation phase, and finally, just savor all of the results in the transformation phase. So whichever one of those you're in, I would love to hear it. And I would love to hear your experience being in them and moving through them. This is so fun and interesting for me as a type C person. I've built multiple businesses. I've built multiple 6 figures. I'm a successfully diversified, multi-passionate, unhinged person these days. And I love it and I live for it. And it's what I love to help you do too. So let me know what stage you're in, how it's going for you, and let me know where you're getting stuck moving. I would love to hear from you. I'll see you in the comments.